Hello, hello! Welcome back to Project Sekai Story Summaries. With today's event, we move into the second phase of Night Court commissions. Generally, the phases are referred to as N1 or Kana 3, or whatever character and focus you're talking about. Mirage of Light is Mafuyu in this case. The event ran on the JP server from September 21st to September 29th, 2021. Now, if you remember, Carnation Recollection happened in June, so this event was definitely long awaited at the time. That's a long Night Court drought. The commissioned song for Mirage of Light is Sasei. That translates to Reborn in English. Just taking a look at the cards for the event, I think this one's gonna be big. Let's get into it, shall we? I think Colorful Palette heard my complaining in the last video because this event doesn't start on a Night Court call for once. I mean, it was about to, but Kanade decided to shake things up and meet in the Sekai to talk in person with everyone. Mafuyu forgot about this initially, but remembered after logging on and finding Night Court completely empty. She thinks about the song that Kanade made for her last time and is hit with a wave of conflicting thoughts. She wants to know why the song made her feel warm and why it made her smile. Mafuyu enters the Sekai while fighting off an oncoming headache. Once inside, Rin asks everyone what the point of their discussion tonight is. Kanade wants to gather ideas from the group on how to format the song to make it more relatable to more people. I know I keep saying the song, and that's not really indicative of which song they're all talking about, but the event isn't really clear about it either. I'm just going to assume it's Kanade Tomosusara since Kanade says the song I made last time. I hope that's the right one. Anyway, the song doesn't have any lyrics or a video or any art, so it's up to the rest of Night Court to pull out all the stops. Unfortunately, Mafuyu seems really out of it. Luca spots this and kinda outs her to everyone else, but I guess it's fine because Mafuyu admits all of her resignations and confusions to the group. Kanade suggests brainstorming together and Mafuyu agrees, but just as she starts to ask how they're supposed to figure everything out, Mafuyu suddenly staggers forward. Musique is quick on the uptake and rests her hand on Mafuyu's forehead. She's got a fever. They quickly send Mafuyu home, and she leaves the Sekai without protest. Despite having nearly collapsed in the Sekai the night prior, Mafuyu decided to get up and go to school the next morning. Could not be me. She makes it through the school day, though she does start to feel worse by the end of it. When she gets home, both of her parents are talking in the kitchen. They're looking at an old photo album of young Mafuyu. I find it really interesting how we've gotten actual sprites and names for Enna's dad and Kanade's parents, but not Mafu Mom or Mafu Dad. There's a narrative choice here, I can feel it. Mafuyu just wanted to grab some medicine and head off to bed, but her parents rope her in to look at the photo album as well. The conversation wanders off towards Mafuyu's future and the two sides of her personality war within her. I mentioned this in the Imprisoned Marionette video, but Mafuyu has her Night Court voice and her everything else voice. The latter is super cheery and high-pitched, but obviously we know it's fake. Night Court Mafuyu is her real, emotionless self, monotone and dry. That high-pitched Mafuyu is always so jarring. It just goes to show you how skilled voice actors are. Let's go Rui Tanabe! Mafuyu heads back to her room to take her medicine and go to sleep, but she wants to listen to Kanade's song again before she does so. She ends up falling asleep with the song playing. We see a short little dream sequence of baby Mafuyu and her mom, who asks her to do the thing. Okay? Mafuyu feels a little better after taking the medicine and sleeping a little, but the feeling in her chest from when she was looking at the photo album is still bothering her. She decides to go look at the album again now that her parents are asleep. It's like Mafu Mom has this spidey sense or something, because Mafuyu is immediately caught. Mafu Mom chides Mafuyu for being up late and sends her off to bed, but Mafuyu manages to snag the photo album on her way back upstairs. To take it a step further, Mafuyu decides to take the album to the Sekai. Once she arrives, Musique is already there. She's talking with Rin and putting flowers on her outfit and such, normal Musique behavior. She offers to give Mafuyu some space to be alone, but Mafuyu says that Musique can stay if she wants to. Then Rin is like, Musique comes here alone a lot. Like, girl, just outing her like that? Okay, rude. Mafuyu questions this, and Musique deflects as per usual, saying the Sekai lets her get away from everything else. She quickly switches the subject to the album in Mafuyu's hands, and Mafuyu explains everything. Musique offers to look through the album with her and see if she can't help Mafuyu figure out those lingering feelings of hers. I'm starting to feel like everyone in Night Court is going to get some sort of Musique field trip therapy session. Musique fawns over baby Mafuyu a little and comments that the girl in the photos is different from the girl sitting next to her now. Little Mafuyu is able to feel happy in a different way. Mafuyu is confused by this. So is Rin, of course. Unfortunately, the meds start wearing off and Mafuyu is sent back to bed by Musique. After she leaves, Rin asks Musique how she was able to make the connections she did just based on the little photos of Mafuyu. Musique says she's always been able to tell what people are thinking based on their facial expressions, but tries not to do it too often because she's taken it too far in the past. Rin asks her to elaborate on that. This is a little hard to explain without it feeling super flat, but I'll do my best. Musique says that she is able to see what emotions people are hiding underneath their cheery facades. She's taken that ability too far before and alienated people as a result. Rin's response is, "You've been going through a lot too, huh?" Musique laughs and pokes fun at Rin a little before saying this. Some people aren't able to show their real selves to others, while some wander in the dark trying to find their real selves. I hope Mafuyu discovers her real self soon. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you the hidden meaning in that sentence. Seriously though, I did not expect so much Musique lore to be revealed in events that aren't even hers. We all know who Sega's favorite is, I guess. The next day, Mafuyu isn't feeling any better. She puts on the persona anyway, going over the 80 bajillion things she has to do before school starts and after school. Student council, archery club, more student council stuff, clubs, cram school, and on top of all that, she's on her own for dinner too. The next few scenes are of Mafuyu dealing with all of that stuff. She gets through after-school club activities before the headache really starts to get to her. She's walking to cram school when she starts swaying on her feet, stumbling over to a bench and promptly passing out on the street. Conveniently, Kanade is walking along that very same street and watches Mafuyu go down. She runs over to help. Mafuyu can barely answer her questions, only managing to tell Kanade that her parents aren't home, so taking her there isn't an option. Kanade decides to take Mafuyu back to her place instead. Kanade is completely at a loss for what to do. She fumbles around her house, trying to figure out how to help Mafuyu. Thankfully, she is able to place a cold towel on Mafuyu's forehead and figures out that some food might help her feel better. Kanade remembers that apples are easily digestible, and that her mom used to make applesauce for her when she was sick as a kid, so that's what Kanade decides to do for Mafuyu. When she's finished, Mafuyu stirs awake. She manages to keep down the applesauce, but her fever still hasn't broken. Kanade goes to get some ice water, but Mafuyu stops her right in her tracks. I think beg is a strong word, but I honestly can't think of anything better, so Mafuyu weakly asks Kanade to stay, begs her not to leave her alone. Kanade sits down next to Mafuyu and holds out her hand, saying she's not going anywhere. In her delirium, Mafuyu is faced with another memory of her past. It's that same one from before, with young Mafuyu and her mother. She's sick in this memory, and her mother is taking care of her, cutting apples in the shapes of bunnies. Little Mafuyu asks her mom to hold her hand until she falls asleep. The memory passes, and Mafuyu thinks she's starting to understand why both the photo album and Kanade's song make her chest hurt. Now that she's fully awake and a little more aware of her surroundings, Mafuyu wakes Kanade, and Kanade explains everything. Kanade fusses a little over Mafuyu and asks if she needs anything, but Mafuyu just wants to ask her a question. What was Kanade feeling when she wrote that song the other day? Kanade answers that she was thinking about her parents and memories from when she was little. She admits to Mafuyu that she wanted her to smile just like her mom back then. I think I'm starting to pick up on this feeling that Mafuyu keeps coming back to. If it's not nostalgia, I'm going to be surprised. After that, Kanade takes Mafuyu home. Nothing overly interesting happens other than Mafuyu struggling to find the lyrics for Kanade's song. She works super late into the morning, completely missing the night court call, and is bombarded by worried messages from the others. Rin decides that she's had enough and goes to fetch Mafuyu herself. This kind of pulls Mafuyu out of her little stupor somehow, and she tells Rin that she knows what she has to do now. With the lyrics, I mean. Mafuyu thanks Rin, and Rin gets all flustered and tsundere, which I honestly did not pick up on until this event. I didn't think Night Court Rin's personality was going to be tsundere. I mean, the Night Court Vocaloids are all super different from their regular versions, but tsundere Rin was not on my list. A few days later, Mafuyu is finished with the lyrics. She heads over to Sekai to show everyone and is met with critical acclaim. Even Anna gives Mafuyu some compliments. That just goes to show how meaningful this song is. Musique says that the lyrics are completely different from Mafuyu's usual tone, and everyone agrees. They're all glad Mafuyu was able to put her feelings into words, finally. And that she's recovered, of course. Kanade and Luca have this little side conversation where Luca just kinda yaps about how she nudged Kanade in the right direction back in Carnation Recollection, which led to Mafuyu's development now. Luca also picks Meiko out of the crowd and pokes at her a little, saying that some serious developments need to happen between the two of them to be able to move forward. Meiko agrees to disagree. The girls are fighting. The next morning, Mafumam cuts up some apples to go along with Mafuyu's breakfast. Unfortunately, she still doesn't taste anything, but she thinks of Kanade's resolve and says softly to herself, "But I think I can keep moving forward. Right, Kanade?" Mafuyu's words bring us to the end of the story for today. Definitely a cute little event. Gotta have our obligatory sick fic. But I am confused about one thing. Which song are they talking about? The live show at the end of the event features Reborn as the song, but in Carnation Recollection, Kanade was composing Kanade Tomo Susara, so which is it? Or is the song they're talking about some unrelated song that has nothing to do with Reborn or Kanade Tomo Susara? I'm just super confused here. Maybe the real song was the friends we made along the way. Alright, I'm just gonna fry my brain if I keep thinking about this, so I'll just say thank you for watching until the end. I've made a considerable dent in the Night Court event list now, so I hope these videos are informational enough. If you have any suggestions on how to improve my understandability or overall entertainment, please don't be afraid to let me know in the comments. Next up on the list is Mizu 2 and What Lies Behind, What Lies Ahead. I'll see you then.